Hi, I'm Jared Padalecki. I can't believe it's not Tuesday, and you're watching Fangeared. Hello, audience. How are you today? It's a beautiful day outside. Everybody's having a glorious day. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining. There's a cool wind blowing through the California area. Oh yeah, and DC keeps firing their writers because they keep trying to do humane things with their comics. I'm sure some of you have heard about this. The writers on Batwoman left DC because a bunch of 11th hour DC editorials kneecapped the story they had in place for Batwoman. Among them being a marriage that had been planned between Batwoman and her girlfriend being canceled. They said, no, you can't do that on panel, even though you've been planning this for the past few months. DC's been making a lot of these editorial interjections lately, and part of the problem with that is that it's preventing the writers from doing their job. Now, DC's already kind of a scumbag company as it is right now. I don't know how many of you know about this new Harley Quinn thing they're doing to attract new artists, but basically the premise is, draw Harley Quinn sitting naked in a bathtub with a bunch of electrical appliances over her, and a look on her face, this is a quote folks, like, well, that's it for me. DC's trying to sexualize suicide now, which is kind of not the best game plan. But anyways, I don't want to be that guy who's constantly demeaning and just shitting all over DC's plans, even though they deserve to be shit on. So today I'm going to talk about some of the good in DC. The good characters, like Batwoman. So can we please take a moment to appreciate Batwoman? She's a really underappreciated character, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to learn y'all a little something about her. First off, let me make it clear that I'm talking mostly about Kane, who's a more recent reboot of a hammy Silver Age character who was created pretty solely to put an end to the rumors circulating that Batman and Robin were a gay couple. Now, recently they revamped the character. When I say recently, I mean like 2006. And she was totally fucking hardcore! Bam! Holy shit, look how kick-ass she looks. She's about to break her foot off in whatever orifice you're not protecting with some sort of bat foot impregnable. You know what, that joke's not going anywhere. Now, unlike some of the other characters in the world of Batman like Robin or Nightwing, Kane isn't exactly what I would call explicitly a part of the Bat family. Although she has worked together with Dick Grayson and Brucey before, she doesn't explicitly, to my knowledge, identify them the same way that the rest of them do. Mostly, she does her own thing. She's even been known to give Batman the finger on occasion. See that? She's about to turn Batman inside out right there. You know it. I know it. Shit was about 5 seconds from getting real. See, Kane is almost literally the badass female version of Bruce Wayne, times 8 billion. She comes from a wealthy family, and her father was a military man. One night, when they were going out to dinner or something like that, her mom, and her sister got captured by a bunch of these really douchebag terrorist guys or something, and her father went in guns blazing. And as a result, her mother and her sister tragically were killed. Then a bunch of crazy shit happens. She gets the boot from the military academy she'd been attending because she refused to deny rumors that she was a lesbian. Now, instead of freaking out, her father went, "Damn straight you did the right thing, honey. I love you and I am very proud of you." So, when she gets mugged and she hands the mugger his nuts in a glass case and Batman swoops down to take all the glory like, "Yo, did you see me totally beat the crap out of that mugger?" And Batwoman's like, "Dude, okay, so while that was totally a dick move, that was pretty cool and you got a pretty nice outfit going on here." She thought to herself, I want to do something like that. And bam! Batwoman is born. And she kicks everybody's ass all the time. She was stabbed in the heart by a crazy cultist. Did she die like most people would given that situation? No, she ripped the knife out of her chest and stabbed the guy who stabbed her. How badass is that? This is a woman who's lived through stabbings, electrocutions, beatings, and perhaps most heinous of all, Dick Grayson being flirtatious. Need I say more? Yes? Oh, okay. During her relationship with Renee, she embarrassed more people than Fox News. Kicking ass, taking names, and just generally being a better person than Batman. Now, after her and Renee broke up, she continued to kick ass and take names. And not only that, but she, unlike some other superheroes, found another person to decide to spend her life with. She got into another relationship and then proposed to someone else. And also continued to beat the shit out of everyone all the time. Now, on a more purely physical level, I want to analyze Batwoman. One thing I noticed straight off in some of her comics is that she's portrayed very practically. A lot of her physicality is more practical, and sometimes you'll see her in a stance that you might normally see in a male superhero. She's graceful and tactical and very beautiful, of course, but look at this panel right here with her and Wonder Woman. Look at the way her shoulders are tensed and hunched. Her pose is tense and rounded and rough, and she's ready to turn some poor fuck inside out. This pose reminds me of something you'd see on a more gritty male hero like Batman or Rorschach or Moon Knight. Her back isn't arched and her head isn't held all the way back so that her butt and her chest stick out at the same time like you see in a lot of other female heroes. This is a more traditionally masculine intimidation pose, and Batwoman's pulling it off hardcore. See, Batwoman doesn't really move the same way as a lot of other female superheroes are portrayed in comics. The artists don't go out of their way to use a whole lot of strange contortionist poses that display her to the world. She has been portrayed in more stereotypically feminine poses, but I've never seen her leaping chest first into battle like some other female superheroes you might see. Now on to her costume. First off, I've always been a sucker for the black-red batsuit combo. They worked well for Nightwing in the New 52, it worked well for Batman Beyond when it was first done, it worked well for a lot of the new Robin redesigns once they finally got around to it. Here, there are a couple of factors that really make it pop for me. For starters, there's the way her naturally pale skin draws attention to her face. And then there's the way her red cape frames her black bodysuit. This looks really good because the red backdrop really makes the black bodysuit stand out. And although you have the red bat in the middle of that black bodysuit, it doesn't really detract all that much from the overall aesthetic of the design. The cape especially works well as a frame with the 5-pointed design on the bottom. Similarly, her hair does the same thing for her mask. And, unlike some other superhero costumes, there's nothing inherently sexual about it. It's not stifling, I mean, it still does kind of show off her chest, but it's modest. It doesn't call attention to her assets, unlike some other super... But anyway, her costume isn't trying to be sexual. It's not trying to be anything other than Batwoman. It manages to be feminine at times, but that could be more attributed to Kate herself than to her costume. And that's a good thing to me. Femininity is nothing to be ashamed of, but in a world where you're literally getting thrown through buildings every other Saturday, it doesn't really make sense to have huge gaping holes in your costume. It seems like it would make it a little easier to get stabbed. Finally, my favorite part of her costume. Her mask. Her mask is my favorite part of her costume, and here's why. Compare Batwoman's mask to Batgirl's mask. Batgirl's mask is more open and rounded. It displays more of her face, which is an important feature when you're trying to either emphasize the youth of a character or make her more easily emotionally available to connect with. Now compare her mask to Batwoman's mask. Hard, angular, with a sharp brow line and nose line. She has opaque eye holes that hide her eyes completely from view, with dark, hard, polygonal surfaces to give it that real, shadowy under-eye look that Batman has. This, to me, more than anything, really solidifies Batwoman's costume for me. It makes her feel like a lot less of one of Batman's family, or underlings, for those not versed in lawyer speak, and more like her own separate entity who happens to be related thematically to Batman. In conclusion, Batwoman is highly awesome, and I highly recommend you read what's gone through her New 52 run. It's one of the few New 52 books I'd recommend. And now that I've given you all of the information, you have no excuse. Please go do it right now. Turn off this video and go do it. Before you do that thing I just told you to do, make sure if you like this video to like and subscribe to Fangeared. If you have any commentary on the way DC's editorials have been decapping their writers, please leave a comment. We always appreciate comments. We always appreciate you. Have a spectacular day. I'm Jared Padalecki signing off.